and welcome into the show here on ESPN Plus from the opulent surroundings, our home away from home for the week, Bank of California Stadium. I'm Adrian Healy, and talking the opulence, look at this: Alejandro Moreno, Herculez Gomez, Sebastian Salazar on board. Shaka Hislop will be joining us.
Oh, that's not opulent.
Very shortly indeed. We'll have highlights from Manchester United, Juventus, and PSG games to come as well. But the talking point here in LA and around MLS at the moment is the imminent arrival of Chicharito. The LA Galaxy seemingly on the verge of acquiring him from Sevilla in Spain. Want to get your guys' reactions, Herc?
Well, it's not going to happen today.
No.
It probably won't happen this week. Spoke to Galaxy officials. Still a few details to iron out. Pen and paper must happen. Next week is looking like the timeline for this signing. And also, I can confirm Chicharito won't be making more than Zlatan. What Zlatan made. So that is very surprising to me.
What do you make of it, Sebi?
Thank goodness for the LA Galaxy. I mean, we're looking at the list of interviews for MLS Media Day, and this league needed stars with the departure of Zlatan Ibrahimovic. And it always seems to be the LA Galaxy that is pushing this envelope.
Yeah.
If I'm the LA Galaxy, at some point, I look around at the rest of the league and I say, when are you guys going to help? It's one thing to build a team that might fill your stadium.
Wow.
If you're the Galaxy, you're getting a star who's going to fill everybody's stadium. And they're the only ones that continue to do that.
Well, whether they're the only ones or not, I'm not quite sure. But what I would tell you is it's a need.
Yeah.
It's an area of necessity for the LA Galaxy. Not only for what you need on the field, but what you need to compete off the field. Guy for Mexican soccer over the last decade or so, it's been Chicharito Hernandez. He is the story, has been the story, and will continue to be the story.
He's 31, Herc. Are we guaranteeing goals from Chicharito in MLS?
I feel like we had this conversation last year, or 2 years ago. You know, Zlatan's 36 years old, coming off an ACL tear. How useful can he be to the Galaxy? And what did he do? He shut my mouth. He shut our mouths. 20 goals his first season, second season, blew it out the water again.
Speak for yourself. I said he was going to score goals.
Chicharito Hernandez, if he's physically well, if he's 100%, when he was on top of his game, his movement in the box was second to none. And I'm not talking about, you know, for the CONCACAF level. I'm talking about worldwide. He was that good. Now, Chicharito Hernandez doesn't possess the same qualities as a Zlatan Ibrahimovic. He's not physically dominant like Zlatan was. Zlatan, there's never been a more dominant player physically in Major League Soccer. He's going to depend a lot on service and that midfield line and what a team like the Galaxy can do. And this is very much a Galaxy roster under construction. Now, when you're always down a goal, it's harder to score goals. This is very evident to players who have played up top. So this all depends on the Galaxy. This all depends on Guillermo Barros Schelotto and what they can do. But if you give him opportunities, he's proven it over and over again. In every league he's been in, he's going to score goals.
How excited would you be, Sebi? Because he's been in Europe a decade. For at least half of that time, there's been rumors of him coming back to MLS at some stage.
Yeah. I mean, I think the expectation has to be sky high. I think you got to say 25 league goals and 30 across all comps. If we're going to put him in the elite class of a Zlatan, of a Joseph Martinez, I think those are the numbers that you have to expect. And I know the numbers haven't been there in his career recently in Europe. You got to go back probably 3 or 4 years to really find consistent production when he was at Leverkusen. But he has got to deliver. If 38-year-old Zlatan can get 30 for this Galaxy team, and this Galaxy team you expect is going to be better, he's got to hit 30 for you.
Very quickly, all I'll say is, while the expectation will be sky high, Chicharito Hernandez is not Zlatan Ibrahimovic.
No, not at all.
He's not.
Different players.
Yeah,
yes.
It's two different players, and Zlatan has a totally different skill set and a superior skill set. I know the expectations will be high, and rightfully so. But let's not expect two different things.
And it sets up Chicharito against Vela in particular right here. That possibility delicious. Sebi, thanks very much. Got to let you go. If you can't get enough Salazar, check out the YouTube weekly show he does with Herc. And sometimes they torture Alejandro as well. Thanks for taking the time. And first off, they say you always remember your first one, Brian, but was the second one even more special in Seattle?
Yeah, Adrian, it was a tremendous opportunity for the city of Seattle to, you know, showcase what the sport means to us in the Pacific Northwest. And it was certainly a proud moment from a guy who was born and raised there.
Yep.
Grew up watching the Sounders early on. So for us to have 70,000 people there, it was quite an event.
Indeed.
Now, Brian, it's a unique opportunity to have you here with us and to have Herculez here with us as well. And while people are going to talk to you this whole day, this whole media day, they're going to talk to you about the title and defending that title and CONCACAF Champions League. I really want to ask you what really matters to me, and that is
Here it comes.
how much of a
I know.
cheerleader and how important of a cheerleader was Hercules in your first title with the Seattle Sounders?
In 2016, he filled a vital role.
Yes.
Look at this.
It was a
Look at
this
vital
crowd
role.
surfing.
that
You think
he
they
fulfilled.
carry anybody like that? I mean, that's the people's champion right there.
That is the people's champion. He was a champion in our locker room. I have to say good things about Herc, not just because I'm sitting next to you.
Oh, I
but
appreciate that.
He was that
Appreciate that.
veteran presence. We had a lot of veterans on that team that helped us win that first title.
So he was a great cheerleader then.
Yes, a great cheerleader.
I notched in a few goals as well. I did my part. I did enough. I did enough.
Your crowd surfing skills are second to none, Herc.
You know, it came
That was really
naturally. I
impressive.
don't know where it came from. It came naturally. Brian, this is 3 Western Conference Finals in 4 years, a 3rd MLS Cup appearance in 4 years, your 2nd MLS Cup in 4 years. This all came rather quickly to you. Did you ever expect this? I mean, a lot of credit has to go to Siggy Schmidt, the late and departed Siggy Schmidt, the great Siggy Schmidt, and what he did for you, what he did for the Seattle Sounders, but it was all you.
Well, thank you for saying that, but not really. I mean, you mentioned Zig. I got a soft spot for Zig. Taught me a lot. It was certainly a good role model. You know, the entire organization, starting with Adrian when he had this idea to bring MLS to Seattle, I think it's been the hard work over 40 years of fans coming together to try and do something really special in Seattle. I have a really good staff. I have really good players. I've been very fortunate in that respect. And so, yeah, the way it came together is sometimes surreal for me.
You come across as a very nice guy, Brian. You come across as a very straightforward guy. And I think I can appreciate that as a former player and say, you know what, that's a guy that I could play for. Now, part of that, then, for those of us in the media, kind of forces us to talk about other people that are maybe more interesting characters, that are more out in front, that are supposed to be bigger stories, and yet your teams continue to win. Is that something that motivates you?
Well, the talk or the lack of, you know, respect or whatever you want to say doesn't really bother me. I think coaching in pro sports, you have to have some confidence in your ability. I think I have that. I don't need to have people telling me that I'm that good or, you know, our team is that good. Sometimes I like to fly under the radar. Sometimes that's beneficial for you. But at the same time, yeah, there's always been a drive since I was a player. We all know what it was like. I hate to lose. That's one of the things I take with me from player to coach. I hate losing, and I think sometimes that rubs off on your teams. I don't think my team last year, our team last year, we came and got some wins in the last moments of games last year,
including right here. Although that had to be one of the most satisfying displays if you manage your career. I want to push on to this year, Brian, season number 25 in MLS. All the talk here in LA right now is about an imminent arrival, Chicharito.
Yeah.
What would you make of that if it happened as someone who would have to go up against him in the Western Conference?
I think it would be a great signing for the league. Chicharito is a tremendous player. I know he's good friends with my good friend Gonzo Pineda, so maybe I'll have to call him today and see if that's really going to happen. But Chicharito is a tremendous, tremendous soccer player. It would certainly fuel the rivalry, Vela, LAFC, Galaxy. I think it'd be a great signing.
You talk about flying under the radar. I get a sense that now Seattle has a target on their back. Does that motivate you, 1? And 2, does Brian Schmetzer and do the Seattle Sounders get the credit they deserve?
Well, I think we get the credit that's due. I mean, look, people talk a lot about Nico. They talk about Raul. They talk about Steph. They talk about
Nico wasn't the best 11 last year in Major League Soccer.
Well, that's not my problem.
Hey, are you trying to create controversy here?
Look,
Let the man
should have
speak.
been.
For as much as they talk about him.
Okay, but he should have been.
Of course.
I mean, you look at the last game here, Nico and Raul scored some pretty fantastic goals last time we were here. So they should be. I think our team gets respect. Again, I come back to Seattle's always been a very competitive team since we've entered, you know, MLS. We've always wanted to win.
Yeah. You tend to do most of your business in the summer, don't you, as well, with Ladero and Rui Diaz arriving as summer transfers. Brian, thanks so much for your time. Fantastic.
Congratulations, new grandparent.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's twice over.
Yes, baby Uma, baby Scotty. I'd like to say hello to them.
Hey.
Absolutely.
Great additions to the Schmetzer family.
There we go.
Hey,
There we
what
go.
a season you had. What a year you had.
Best of luck in the forthcoming campaign. We've got to let you go as well, Herc, for now. Shaka Hislop will be joining us shortly. Herc, you can be seen on ESPN Deportes, by the way.
Correct. What's the name of the show?
Every day, it's Hora o Nunca.
There you go. You didn't think you'd say it. There you go.
Hora o Nunca. rounding out the top 4. You know us. When we promise something, we deliver. And look what we have delivered here on set. A legend, Alessandro Del Piero.
Yes. Thank you very much.
Juventus legend, Azzurri legend, joining us on set. Maybe some people don't realize, Alessandro, ever since you retired in 2014, you've lived right here in LA. Tell us a little bit about your life in LA and what you've done.
After the 2 years in Sydney, I decided to come here. You know, the weather is a big attraction in Los Angeles, and other 1,000 other things. So I decided to move here with my kids, my family. We are here. We are quite happy 4 years ago. It happened. So yeah, it's.
And you have a restaurant in West Hollywood, number 10.
Bravo, and number 10 in West Hollywood.
Yeah.
Can we do a promotion?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
You can invite us.
Yes, if you invite us.
Let's talk about the. So we have.
These guys have very tight dietary restrictions. I don't know if there's anything on the menu.
They look perfect. I mean, they're already in diet, but we have a really good food and healthy. So yeah, happy to have you guys.
Well, let's talk a little football. Alessandro, before we eat at your restaurant.
Yeah, they invited us.
Just confirming that. Juventus at the moment. We'd love to get your thoughts on what you think of Juventus under Maurizio Sarri right now.
Juventus, it's quite simple. I mean, it's already years that they build a team that don't need to think about tomorrow.
And even though they've only lost once the whole season in all competitions, you still expect more in terms of the quality of play because of the quality of players that you just mentioned. Is that something to be worried about if you're a Juventus fan?
No, this is you touch a good point. And plus, I want to add, plus what happened last summer, the change between Allegri and Sarri was in that direction. You know, make the team play much better than before, because they were kind of complaining. You know, we don't play well, we defend only, we won 1-0, we want a club that wins 5-6-0. But there's a couple of facts very important. First of all, Italian league is really tough. Even if you are a lower club, you don't lose games 6-7, 8-0 like happened in Spain or in England sometimes. Defensively, we're still strong as a structure, tactically, and as a single player. So that's one of the reasons why Ronaldo is scoring even less than before sometimes. So, and the second one is, it's not easy when you play every 3 games, have time to training. You need to train. You need to be trained in some way to find what you want. The idea of Sarri is a wonderful idea that he showed with Napoli for 3 years. Napoli played probably the best football ever in Europe, but he chose 3 years ago the players, and sometimes doesn't match with the club. So on the high level, priority is win. How? I don't want to say it is an option, but it's the way through.
Is it not all about the Champions League this season, Alessandro, for Juventus? They last won it with you, 1996. It's been a long time. Are they better equipped to do that this year under Sarri?
Yes and no, because even the other years they have an incredible player. The one that they lost against Barcelona was probably the one that, as a team, as a single player, as a mentality, I don't mean what is the Juventus mentality, they're still the same. Win, 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 doesn't matter. You win a game, you celebrate 5 minutes, go back to think how to win the next one. But I'm talking about the energy and the chemistry that happen inside the team. Only with that special one, you can win the Champions League. Because if you see, Juve have the chance to win the Champions League, yes. Barcelona, yes. Real Madrid, yes. Paris Saint-Germain, a lot of clubs, 7, 8 at least, they can do it. And then show up Tottenham like last year, and they reach the final, they almost win the Champions League. That let's be honest, we didn't consider it the top 5 teams last year, you know, at the beginning of the season. Because the season changed. Now there is a big moment. The market, and what happened now is another big moment. Look at the Barcelona. Barcelona changed the coach. It's a big decision. I mean, you change a lot, even if you have great players.
Listen, Juventus fighting on so many different fronts, and now a genuine title challenge from Inter Milan. What do you make of Inter under Antonio Conte and the changes that he's made to that squad to make them competitive?
Well, he changed a lot. First of all, he has the support of the club. This is very important. The connection between club and coach is really, really important, especially in Italy. And Inter had Marotta before, was a Juve with Conte, so they can work together in some things. And then he has a really strong mentality, really strict tactically, really, really strict. If you see Inter, they analyze every game very well before. He coached me 1 year, so I know exactly what he's going to do. It's really tough. You training a lot. You training for a lot of time. You watch a lot of videotape. It's a big preparation. So that is a change. And what happened in Chelsea with him, that came back after, he joined Chelsea, the 7th place, he won the league. It happened in Juve before. And this is what you want to do at Inter as well. If the players and the club follow him, this is what can happen. Now, they can win
for a former teammate of yours, Antonio Conte, and then he's coaching you. Did you enjoy playing for Antonio Conte?
I know the mentality. Even when he was playing, he was really strong and straight. But I enjoy a lot, yes. Even if that year was the last one for me at Juve, it was very weird for different reasons, not Conte. But I enjoy.
But you ran a lot.
I ran a lot.
That's why. That's why it was in last year.
Well, you need to run a lot, and you need to run well. And he makes the combination of two.
When you look at a player like Cristiano Ronaldo now at Juventus, right, and you play with great players in your time, do you think to yourself, man, I could have done something with this guy?
He's really, really well organized, and it's amazing. Yes, definitely.
Talking of numbers, Alessandro, 478 Serie A appearances for Juventus, which was a record until Gigi Buffon broke that record just a few short weeks ago.
Did you? No question. I just wanted to say. I just wanted to say that.
Did you carry on? Were you surprised he went back to Juve? Did you? You were surprised.
Yeah, I was surprised, even if I know that he wants it. But it's a big return. Create a lot of rumors, some critics as well. But it's a big reunion, and I think everybody are happy about that. Kind of surprised to see Buffon in the bench. That's the point, because he's still in amazing shape. He's doing great, but if you think about Juve, you think about Buffon on the field, and now you see on the bench, you say, oh, something.
Well, there's a reason why he's on the bench, Alessandro.
Yeah, of course there is a reason. And,
leave Gigi alone.
Don't mess with him.
Speaking of a player who was on the bench for the last few games, Matthias de Ligt, who was a tremendous investment by Juventus, and there is a lot of hope and expectation on de Ligt. He goes to the bench, then there's the injury to Demiral. He's now back on the field. What do you make of his performance so far with Juventus?
You would defend him a lot at the beginning of the season. When I mean that, when I say that, I mean that he did a quite not great performance, especially when you come back, with the big money has both him and the way that they present him, the big talent ever in this period as a defender with Van Dijk. I mean, you create a lot of expectation. You think that everything has to be perfect. When something doesn't match with that, you create rumors. But he's still an amazing talent. What changed, as I mentioned it a little bit before, is the way that Italy used to defend. When I say Italy, we most of the time we need the extra player in defense, to cover yourself, and this is what not going on sometimes in Europe, especially in England. You play 1 versus 1 in the defense. You don't need that. So the structure of the team, and he play as well in a very organized team. So when you play in a very organized team, you know exactly before things happen what to do and what could happen as well. So you can think before and make the action straight away. Now we need to adapt to a new system a little bit, and this is why it takes some time to him to figure it out, the position and the role. But yeah, Juve will go with him, of course, and then injury can happen, but I think it will be okay.
But these kinds of investments were made with one trophy in mind. the Champions League, as we'd mentioned before. Manchester City are the bookies' favourites, certainly the bookies in England. Who do you think has the best chance of winning? Where's your money going on the Champions League?
My money go to the restaurant.
Yeah.
By the way. Yeah. But if I have extra money, okay. Well, I still believe that Man City can have really a chance. I mean, it's already years that they are close by. And for some reason, VAR one time, VAR the next year as well, it didn't happen. But it's really, really tough. I think we will have a great idea after the next round. What happened the next round would be...
Yeah.
Everybody can have a great idea because there is a stop between what happened in the winter and now the coming one. And some changing, market, coaches, some of these changes, can make you better, but most of the time nothing changed too much. Only Zidane came up during the season and won the trophy. So, and it's very difficult. But I'm saying that because when you come back after 2 months that you don't play the competition, you will see which kind of energy is on the team. Because on the other side, Liverpool still have a big chance from my point of view. Yeah. Because I love Klopp and the way that he's managed the things, and they still free to play. But I think they will be kind of busy with the league.
So where's your money going, Alessandro? Where?
City.
Okay, there we go.
City.
All right.
Hey, thanks so much for being with us. Before we go, though, you are going to be appearing on a field very shortly with Barcelona, but a Barcelona in Ecuador.
Yes.
Just tell us briefly what's that? It's a pre-season friendly, yeah?
Yeah, I will join them. I fly tonight, and I will join Ecuador tonight and tomorrow, by the way, and I will got hosted by the Barcelona, see for Noche Amarilla. Okay. And it will be a really fun night. Yeah. Till I show up to the field. Yes. I'll be honest. I mean, I'm in shape. I'm quite pretty as well. But play with a 22, 25 years old, a full game, it will be quite tough.
Well, thank you so much for joining us, and we will be at your restaurant.
Yeah, we will.
Even if you're in Ecuador.
Yeah, we will.
We're going to go.
Please, I'll double check. Okay.
Alessandro said, that's what we said. Yeah. It's on the house.
Oh, definitely on the house.
Tomorrow's show, much more from here in LA as the week rolls on. Hope you can join us again. Well, you know where Alessandro Del Piero watches his Serie A games. You know it, ESPN Plus. And we got a full schedule for you this weekend, starting on Saturday with those 3 games. Also the ESPN 2 game at AC Milan against Udinese. Sunday, Monday game as well with Atalanta taking on Spal. ESPN Plus also your home for all your out-of-market games all season long in MLS, ahead of the 25th season in MLS as we welcome you back at California Stadium. And we are joined. Why settle for one, Alejandro, when you can have 2 on the show?
There's never too many.
Alejandro Bedoya from the Philadelphia Union, old friend of ours. Thanks for spending some time.
Yeah, nice to be here.
I was looking back at the figure. Can't believe it. 3.5 years now with Philly. You're actually the longest time you've ever spent at any club.
Is that true?
Far. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Beating Knox.
No, it's been nice. Time flies, but Philly's been good so far.
How did you feel last season when it felt like it was the best year yet for the Philadelphia Union since you've been there?
Yeah, I think definitely for sure it's been the best season. I think gradually since I've been there, we've improved, on and off the field, and some exciting things happening in Philly, with the whole academy developing there and the youth movement that's going on, and then mixed in with veteran, experienced guys like myself. I think last year was should be what we strive for all the time, to be competitive. Obviously we don't maybe have the budget as some of these teams out here like this, but the most important thing is that we were competitive, and that's been happening ever since I've gotten there.
You talk about that budget, and is this becoming a league where all of a sudden there's a separation of the pack? You see LAFC, you see Atlanta, you see Seattle, Toronto, some of these teams that spend. How does Philly compete with that?
Yeah, like I said, right now I think we've been able to do the best with what we got. So we have that kind of, that Philly blue collar. Alejandro knows a little bit about it, Philly spirit in us. And I think Jim has done a great job with the players that he has to his disposal. And, I think with a little bit of mix of my leadership and also our style of play, it's developed over the years that we've been able to compete. Because obviously financially maybe we can't compete. And you see now the last 4 teams in the playoffs, there is a correlation there with team spending and bringing in marquee players. But for us, it's just maintaining that aggressive attitude and competing, and hopefully the youth players, more guys like Brendan Aronson and those guys step in and make a difference. And here we are.
You just mentioned the youth players. So if this is a team that is not able or won't be able to spend money in players the way that some other teams in this league are going to do it, then it's very important that then you're developing players so that those guys are productive on the weekends for you. How is that? Because we know it's an area of expertise, if you will, for the Philadelphia Union. And how is that perceived by the players on the first team and saying, okay, we're not going to go get the big name, but then this guy's coming from behind. They better be good players for us.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm an ambitious guy, and the reason why I went to Philly was that was kind of what they proposed. We have an ambitious project ahead.
They're taking him to the Final Four.
Did I miss that? I must have missed that on vacation or something.
What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think last time he was there, in Brazil too, I think he said that we could have gone to the semifinals, So, of course, I think he's always saying very ambitious things, and he's always kind of said things that have challenged kind of the status quo, so to speak. So, I don't know. I mean, obviously, we didn't even make it to the World Cup. So, for him to say that is kind of, it is what it is, but I don't put too much into that. I think there's no excuses. We should have been there, and we didn't make it. So.
He's trying to get you in trouble. Yeah. He's supposed to be your friend, your teammate.
I've been pretty blunt before, but
yes, exactly why.
Hey, man, it's preseason. He's in preseason form.
Relax, right?
He's got to go. Alejandro, thanks for joining us, and best of luck, season number 25. Not for you in MLS, but season number 25 of the league. Alejandro Bedoya from the Philadelphia Union. Our opening day coverage here on ESPN, a double-header. Ali and I, that's Ali Moreno, will be with the Seattle Sounders and Chicago Fire. And then right here, LAFC against Inter Miami. That's the second half of that doubleheader, of course. Again, thanks for joining us, Carlos.
Welcome.
Before we get into you and to LAFC, I want to get your thoughts on the subject that everyone is talking about today
his pants.
in LA. Well, his pants, definitely.
You will see those
I'll show you later.
Yes.
Show you later.
Chicharito. Everyone talking about his potential arrival here in LA, just down the road. You were teammates together. You played at 2 World Cups together. How would you feel about playing against him in MLS?
I think will be great. If he's coming to LA, will be a nice time for everybody.
Yeah.
I think for the league will be good. For the city will be good. For our rivalry will be good. And I hope he will come. If he's happy with that decision, I will be happy. So I will kill him.
Yeah.
So no problem. If he's coming, I like it.
Just no goals allowed here at this stadium. No.
And if he score, I will score one more.
Nice.
You said about being happy with the decision.
Yeah.
You must be happy with your decision.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I take the decision to come here, I was so happy, and I think the results are here. So if he make the same, for sure he will enjoy and he will do a good thing because he's a good player.
Carlos, a while ago, your name was circulating in some of the biggest teams in the world, a team like Barcelona. Now Luis Suarez is on the shelf for about 4 months. Does that cross your mind that you could still be a target for a team like Barcelona?
No, because the last year was an option. I talk with people. This year is not. So I'm not thinking about nothing because nobody called me. So it's some rumors like the press make or the people make, but it's nothing. I'm still here.
The media, Carlos.
Yeah,
you can never trust it.
Of course.
You
are the problem always.
Well, you're clearly loving life here in LA. Your first year was very good. Your second year, we just saw some of it, took it even to a high. What made the difference from year 1 to year 2? Because you're also wearing the captain's armband.
And I enjoyed it. So in that part, it was easy to do the things I did.
Are you going to miss Zlatan Ibrahimovic?
Of course.
Yeah.
I think he's a great player. And he helped me to be better. So always it's important to play against the best players in the world. So if it's coming, Chicharito and other good players will be excited for me. And some motivation to be better and do more things than the rest.
You talk about Chicharito as if he's coming. You're a very good friend of Chicharito. I'm sure he picked up the phone and asked you, what's LA like? What's the vibe like? What's the league like? What did you tell him?
I talked with him.
Yes, I know.
But if we want to tell you, I will put you in the group in WhatsApp. But you are not there, so we don't want you to know.
You're nearly there.
What's wrong? We think about you. We put it nothing. No.
Hey,
next time.
Zlatan's no longer in the picture then, so who's the nemesis for you this year?
Hey, you're not in the WhatsApp group, though.
No, but now we're here on the set.
I don't know yet.
Yeah.
We'll see. Let me see who is in the league, and then I will pick one.
How do you build upon what you did here last year as a team? 72 points, you set the records in the league. Okay. What's next? I know you have CONCACAF Champions League coming this year.
For
as
me,
well.
the target is simple: be champion.
Yeah. MLS Cup,
because we feel we are the best team in the league. We play really well, but when you don't win trophies, it's a problem. And if we really want to be the best team in this league, we have to win. So it doesn't matter if I win MVP or goal scorer. I want to be champion. It's my target, it's my focus from today until the end. And the rest, of course, I will try to be the best. I will try to break records, but the most important is win the champion.
If I'm a Mexican soccer fan and I see the headlines on the newspaper, and every time that you play, you're scoring goals, and it's MVP, and it's all the conversation as to how good you have been, I'm asking the question, well, how come this guy's not in the national team? I'm taking the perspective of a fan, so I'll ask you, how come you're not in the national team?
No, because I think my chances pass. I never get it like in the good way, or never make that difference to make Mexico to the next level. And I feel like the next World Cup is in 3 years, so I hope in 3 years are more better players than me. So I left the chance to start to prepare his mind, his body, his everything to really put Mexico in a better level. So that's why I'm like, okay, I will be not my best age, so let's go. Okay. Let's do it.
It'll be in 2 years from now, and if you keep playing the way you're playing right now, I don't think it should be a question. My question to you is, you talk about these championships. You talk about competing for trophies.